you got. Pain and glory on the floor. Warriors, we want some more. Heartbeats racing, time to fight. Show them all our endless might. Fight to the top. Don't ever stop. Fight to the top. Give it all you got.
Oh, we're coming in hot, folks. Welcome to episode 26 of the wonderful Muay Thai live stream podcast, whatever you want to call it, but it is Cruise Corner. That's right.
Welcome to the show, guys. It's just me and Brandon today. And usually we get a lot of fun stuff when it's just me and UB. Last time we got Top King just suddenly jump on. And a couple of times we had another guy just tell us about his gym experience, and we helped him with his business. Kind of curious about that guy.
That's like an open door policy. It's an open
There's
door
a
policy.
lot going on in the fight world right now. There's some cool shit. There's some crazy shit. There's a lot of misinformed shit. And I don't know. I think I did some research. You know, we were looking at our intergender, I guess we would call it, is the technical term for the boxer from, is she from Iran?
I think it's Algeria.
And
that was
at first when everything came out,
it was versus Italy that started the controversy.
Well, I heard about it before the Italy match. And you know, from my understanding at the time, she was 9-5, which isn't like a fantastic record, right? Like this isn't like Mike Tyson of boxing here. She's losing bouts, she's winning bouts. It's a pretty standard. And so from according to Axios, and I did some research, and she was born as with both genders and was elected as female, right, by the parents. That was the chosen gender. And she was excluded from certain, like the world championships, because of their particular policy. But the IOC in 2000 and I believe 8, if I'm not mistaken, changed their framework for inclusion of trans athletes and intergender athletes, which was interesting, right? Well, they put out a statement, and it was very much like, we're hands off. We're going to allow all the international federations, the Boxing Federation, the International Federation, to create policy for each sport concerning transgender, and which was a good move on their part, because one, liability, right? It's not up to us. And two, each sport, it doesn't, you know, some sports don't have a gender. They wouldn't have a gender, you know, advantage. And so leaving it up to the federations might be smart, right? You leave some of the policy to the
organization,
the international federations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, to decide whether or not, let's say, you know, track and field, there's going to be a clear, obvious advantage, right?
Go bigger, right, Thiago? It's like, how many countries are competing in this? How many athletes from different cultures, different backgrounds? There's so many variables. This is one that everybody's talking about. That's such a difficult thing for them to do.
It's a hot topic.
Make and match it and do everything fair. I mean, I've learned a lot from it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's good because one, it's putting it up on the forefront. You know, when it first came out, and I got messages galore. Oh, can you believe this shit? And I'm like, I don't even know what's going on.
I even shared,
and they were saying They were saying that it was a male, genetic male fighting a female, and there was a lot of misinformation. A lot of misinformation about how, you know, this came to be.
Well, it's citizen journalism. So, like, for everybody watching, that's something that is very important for you to know. We get really quick information with citizen journalism, but it's not verified, right?
It's not
somebody's
verified.
opinion.
And sometimes, you know, just they won't read the article, right? So they'll just read the headline
I
and
mean,
go,
how
"Can
many
you
people
believe
read?
it?" And
How
I'll
many
actually
people
read the
read?
article and I'll go, "Hey, buddy, like, did you read the article you sent me? Like, it doesn't say
They
that.
don't even read it. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, that doesn't say
clickbait.
what you're saying.
Yeah, the headline
So
clickbait
read
says
the art.
something.
Well, it's clickbait, you know, and that's the problem with the information age, is that not everything is accurate information. It's just information. It's just freaking word vomit, right? And so I looked at Axios, you know, Olympics.com, you know, was a good one that I kind of wanted to look at direct from the IOC and
These
see
links
what
are so long too. I was gonna share them, but I'm like, I
they're super
won't be
long.
able to type them in.
Yeah, unfortunately, maybe we can put them on the
Like in the
comments
comments. Yeah,
and on YouTube.
yeah.
And so we'll take a look at the comments on YouTube, and you can kind of look at the links there and see what we found, you know. And so what they learned, you know, is that there's a couple things, is that testosterone is not a single factor that may or may not, you know, there's a lot of factors that give advantages, right? And testosterone is not the single one, depending on the sport. And so there's not a lot of research on it, and there's not a big sample group to even do a significant research on it. That is going to take forever to get that down, right? And so, you know, these things are important to discuss because these people exist. You know, these people exist. What's the other? There's another lady that's is she from Taiwan? Where's she from?
I think
Philippines?
it was it may have been Taiwan.
So there's two boxers
Yeah.
that, you know, were born this way, and they should have a place. This is how they were naturally born, right? You know, the one that I read a lot was, if Michael Phelps didn't have webbed feet and webbed, you know, would he be as dominant? You know, would he have to have cut his webbed feet? You know, this is basically how he was born. Because
Yeah,
he
I
does have,
saw a
you
few of
know,
those. Like every
I
athlete
heard
has
that too,
something
and
about
it's
them
like
that,
it's a fair argument, right?
amazing.
Like,
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
and these people were, you know, these women were born this way. They
Or people
elected,
who
you
could
know,
hold their breath for longer, because of a genetic
you have
benefit.
genetic, you know, and these are like superhuman people, right? Like these people that are running, you know, I just watched a 1,500-meter race, 1,500 meters in 3 and some change minutes. That shit is crazy to me. If you really think about how fast they are running, they're approaching, you know, it's insane amount of speed that they're running at, right? And these are the elite athletes. You have to have a certain genetic disposition to be at that level, right? And and compete at that level. You can't just, you know, have a VO2 max of like 48 and expect to you know, be an Olympic marathoner. And so there are always genetic predispositions that give you advantages. And, you know, from my understanding, the Olympics is trying to understand, you know, at what point, where's the line here, right? Because there is no one size fits all.
Well, to keep it fair, it's all the policies are fair sporting at the
Fair
end of the day,
sporting.
and that's, I think, a lot of some
And
of
you
us
also
that
have
are
to think about
officials.
these
We don't
athletes,
know.
right? You have to
Yeah.
think about these
Well, the
athletes too.
athlete
What's fair to them?
safety, fairness, all those tenets.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
You know, and so, you know, these are incredible humans, and they display their talents for the world to see. I believe that, you know, these people have a place in the Olympics. I kind of waited a little bit to make the statement because I wanted to do some research, and there's a lot of terrible sources out there. Terrible sources. Like I was reading some and I was like, these are just straight lies. Inferences, the just the bad journalism.
Well, and
And
some of it we can't even verify anyway. Even if it's from Associated Press today, I don't even know that I
it's
would
hard to
believe it,
verify,
some
but
of
you
it.
got to go with it's an organization that basically, has a higher reputation for integrity. You
Yeah,
can't
but
go to the
you were
regular
right
source.
about Taiwan. That was Lin Yuting. That was
Lin
the
Yuting.
other. Yep,
And
Taiwan.
is she still in the running, or did she? I think she's still in the running. No, Lin
I'm
Yuting. I
not
think she's still
sure.
in. Her and is her name Amin? Amin? Amin?
Trying
I
to
just thought it was just a very interesting topic of discussion. If anybody's out, online and wants to discuss it, I'd be happy to have that discussion. There's a lot of really cool, resources out there. I don't really know what position I'd be taking on this. I don't really know because there is no research, right? I thought, what I found interesting too. I found interesting that at in men's boxing they have no headgear. I noticed that women's boxing still has headgear,
Hmm.
and I'm confused about that too. Like, where's the research? The research basically said that headgears in boxing make it more likely for you to have a concussion. It's actually more dangerous, so they got rid of it. I mean, it was a very well done, peer reviewed study that they made it change the policy, and that kind of stuff is what's important. That's there needs to be research on the fact that some women are naturally, even without the XY chromosome, some women will just naturally have more testosterone. It's normal, and so are we gonna now across the board test these things? That creates a environment where it's unsafe. If my body's naturally creating a certain amount of testosterone and I'm going to try to inhibit that, that's not a good thing for me. That's not something that naturally occurs in my body. And I'm basically going to handicap myself to compete in my division. That's wild.
Yeah, and performance enhancement is an issue. WADA exists for a reason. Those things are currently, they test for certain things for a reason to stop unfair
Have
advantages.
you seen the organizers that want to put an enhanced version of the Olympics?
Oh, where they
want to
like
put them
allow
on.
them to get
They're
to
going
be,
to allow and encourage
oh wow,
perform PEDs,
getting all jacked up on some
getting
Yondo.
jacked up,
Like, go ahead.
and go for it. Go get a heart attack.
Go
Go get
ahead.
an
Come on, say
aneurysm.
it. New York style. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. And these people that have like quite, from my understanding from their ads and stuff, they have quite a big. I mean, it is a spectacle, right? I have quite a big set of investors, like big investors, and want to see this happen. I am actually kind of curious to see
Well,
what
that's at
that
the
would
root
look
of humans, right? We want to see
the
the
maximum potential.
spectacle. Yeah.
Yeah, the maximum potential of humans
Well, like
according.
even at the rodeo, right? They do things to the bulls. I mean, in pretty much every sport to try to get, more reaction out of everything. I think we even,
I'm very
you
curious to
know,
see like the endurance sports. I'm curious to see some of the boxing sports, some of the fighting sports. That's going to
just the
be
change of
crazy.
the ring size. We've seen that ourselves. Like if you go from a 24-foot, pro size ring and you put, young kids in there, they can dance around all day. They got a ton of place to move. But if you get them closer in, it's more action. They're able to stay at each other better, and it's better to watch. And, so definitely.
Yeah, I'm very curious. But we put those articles up there on YouTube. It's in the comment section. You can take a look. I don't really have a position in the matter. I'm also not an expert in the matter as well. I'm not even remotely an expert in the matter. I'm just regurgitating what I read. And, from my understanding, I don't know enough to take a position. And in a lot of cases, people online feel very emboldened to take a position without knowing jack shit about what's going on.
Yeah, I think they damage their own credibility. Even I posted, when I saw it, I reposted something that I saw, and I didn't, really take a position. However, a lot of people commented on it, of course, and they had little discussions in between themselves. And, I took it as a learning experience personally. I have my, views on policy, of course, and probably people watching know what some of those are. But, even in this time we all should take to learn and educate ourselves on things. And especially like for me, a lot of what I've been doing is thinking about this as if this was my child, and how I would look at it differently in that situation. And then the sporting hat and see about fairness and how do you think about that. And of course in sporting, we want inclusion. We don't want, what shouldn't be happening, in my opinion, in sports is it shouldn't be dividing people. So the fact that all of this is creating a bunch of division is bad for sports. Sports are supposed to be somewhere where we all can come together on things. We support our country. If it's Taiwan and Lin Yu Ting, that's our brother, sister, whoever it is. And you should get behind your athletes and really support, because no matter what, getting to that point was tough. Whatever the track that was taken, we know the political side of it that has to be navigated. We know a lot of those things are involved. So hats off to everybody in the Olympics first.
Yeah, I mean, I've always found this to be, my fiance and I kind of have like discussions about it, because she's very versed in, women's studies, and, she studied it quite a bit. And, she gave me a piece of her mind a little bit about these things. And it's just interesting, right? It's a good debate about, what really, I feel like the Olympics and sport in general should be a place void of political agendas, any kind of agenda whatsoever. And it should be, like you said, a unifying force, right? Unifying force. We could be at war. It could be Palestine and Israel. And we could be, from opposite ends of the world, and we compete together as friends, as colleagues, and set aside worldly bullshit to come together as athletes, right? That's the beauty of sport. It's the ultimate, I would say, reality show. But it's a reality show that is pretty, it's wholesome, right? Like we're supposed to be inspired by the Olympics, by the way the athletes compose themselves, by the way these different things that, like, I never like to see political statements in the Olympics, because it literally it defies everything that the Olympics stand for, which is supposed to be unity. You're supposed to bring people together, right? And so this kind of thing is, I see a lot of people trying to make it a political statement, trying to make it, all against transgender, because, trying to talk about religion. Religion should be completely void of this, completely. What you believe shouldn't be a deciding factor whether you win or lose in the sport. You can believe whatever you want. You can follow whatever political agenda you want. We're just going to play by a set of rules. That's it. That's all it is. You're a body, I'm a body, and we're just going to play by a set of rules and see who prevails.
And most people's comments are in the peanut gallery anyway. So let's just be honest with everyone here. We're not there. we're not at the games, we're not the coaches that are at the games, we're not involved in these people's camps, and they probably know a
incredible
lot.
work.
They probably even have to know, just like anybody, who they're up against. They took the fights, they agreed to the bouts. There's a bunch of things at play, and the argument about the different organizations too. Even kind of, I was like, oh, disqualified from this for that, and I was like, well, those are two different organizations. They have two different policies, two different sets of rules. They're just it's apples to oranges, really.
There's a
The
lot of
comparison.
clickbait,
So,
right? It's a lot of
yeah,
clickbait. Like, oh, this she was this and she was that, and that's why she shouldn't be fighting. I was like, you don't know shit, bro. And you read one article, and it was a shaky source with misinformed, and inferences on things that really weren't true, and so I
well,
had to,
even the Italy athlete, she came out and made a statement
and she
after she
apologized.
exactly, and that's who's matter. Those are the people that are in the ring.
She was
Those
just
are the people that
upset, and
matter.
that's understandable when you work your whole life to fight, and then you're upset because you lost. You got destroyed, right? You
Well,
work
in
your
any
whole life,
loss, in your whole life, you do that. You look for things to blame it on.
and so
That
she came to terms with whatever, and let it go. And that's again, that's the beauty of sport, you know. And we wish all the athletes the best out there. It's actually it's an intense boxing. Olympic boxing is a little bit different than regular boxing, so you have to kind of watch it and see. And we'll be watching and excited to see, and these kind of policies may affect the future of our sport in Muay Thai because it sets precedents,
yeah.
and so kickboxing and boxing and things like that. As we all know, in Muay Thai, there's transgender that compete in their original gender, right, in their birth gender, and they come in and they represent themselves as female. They wear makeup, they do the whole thing, but they compete against male. And it happens quite often. It's almost like commonplace in Thailand. And that's another argument, like, why don't they just compete as this is how it's supposed to be done. I've seen those posts too.
Well, but a
uh,
lot's changed too, though, right? Like I had a discussion I was on somebody's live on TikTok, I think last week, and we were just talking about, that definitions change, like, and who's in control of that. There's a panel at Merriam-Webster who decides what the definition of something is.
yeah,
And I was talking about, everybody says cap, right? That means a joke. If you put cap right now and look at the definition, it says a hat, it has a couple different things, but I will tell you, at some point they will add another definition that means a joke, because it will be legitimized through the English language that is another meaning of that word. And so, even my
like selfie.
right, my thoughts on a lot of this has evolved. Like, there's a difference between sex and gender. That's something that
Yeah,
I've been learning about, and what, just to understand, certain things. And, do I like to get into some of that and, create a bunch of division? Not really. I don't. I want to learn about it. I want to understand it. I definitely want to be, I'm a sporting guy. I want to be, I think inclusive shouldn't just be a word. It should be meaningful. We should create an environment where everyone can compete fairly. And I think that's at the core of what a lot of this, discussion and some vitriol is about, is people that are just really trying to argue for that. So, just everybody keep an open mind. I think that's the most important thing you can do during this. Learn, try to take, instead of firming what positions you already had, it might be good for you to go outside of your comfort zone, talk to some people that are educated on certain things, maybe more than you are, and, grow a little bit as a person, as a human, I think.
yeah. I concur. I um I don't have much to say about it. This is basically a really hot topic. Wanted to put it out there so people can discuss and make their own judgments, but informed, right? Like look it up, make your own informed judgments. Nobody here is an expert unless you're some kind of geneticist. I don't want to hear none of your bullshit either. Right. I'm going to go with some of the articles that are high integrity. And, from my understanding, they seem pretty fair. They seem pretty just,
I
somebody.
would say I'm noticing people are going back and forth in and out of their sciences that they subscribe to. They're like, trust the
Everybody's a
science,
scientist.
but don't trust the science. And, here, what is the description of what a woman is, but I can't say that, but now I can because this person has this, that, and other. That stuff, all it does to someone like me is just damage your credibility as a person, because we can see you, we see when you flip
We
flop
see you
back and
flipping
forth.
back and forth.
Yeah, and I'm, we're all human too. I'm not trying to act holier than thou, because I'm a human and I've made a lot of those mistakes.
Well, I've seen a lot of people also, make very strong statements and then go silent and never say anything, and they know good well they fucked up.
Yeah,
And just completely silent, never said anything. Oh, sorry. Oh, I didn't mean it, or oh, I wasn't fully informed, and that also hurts your credibility, right? Like, so it's just an interesting topic. I think we're gonna just I guess wrap it up here. I was looking around. I don't know if we have any comments, but
yeah. I was not on the Instagram stream. Do you have it
I
up?
see the Instagram stream and there's just nothing.
So
Jonathan was on for a hot second and then he's
maybe
off.
everybody's watching the Olympics.
Yeah,
Maybe
probably are. They probably are, and I hope that they are. So looking forward to discussing some of this stuff later on. After the Olympics is over. We're rooting for all the boxers out there in France, in Paris.
Yep, and some of our own community are out doing some things out there. We're also
the USA Muay Thai took 2 athletes out to do, I believe it was an exhibition.
We're super proud of Sierra. I know I am. I always have
Sierra
been.
and Aaron, always
Aaron
representing our
Ortiz.
country well. Congratulations to them.
Team Link Muay Thai is incredible. Everybody from that team's awesome.
Yeah,
we love
so
Danny, Desiree. So
yeah, so that was that was a really big thing for us to have representatives from the U.S. To compete in the Olympic Games, not in the Olympic Games, but showcase our sport.
Exposure.
Yeah, we need it. So congratulations to those athletes, and yeah, I don't really have much else to discuss. It was pretty much the hot topic was this boxing thing, but it's not really it's not really. There's not a lot up for debate, right? Like,
I just want to direct people to, if you did some of what I did and go back and look at just a lot of their histories in sporting, these folks, and how long they've been competing and what other events, and nobody ever said anything about it before, and then all of a sudden it's a big controversy. That in itself should be a little suspect, especially when awards and things are won, and so at any rate, just be nice to one another out there.
All righty, guys, we're going to conclude our show. Thank you for joining us. This is a short one, but a good one. And we will see you next week. Same time. Our YouTube channel, and which is RBC Sports. So our YouTube is RBC Sports. Just subscribe on there, and you can get our weekly, podcast. And we talk about everything Muay Thai, everything fighting, everything that has to do with our sport. So,
here we go. Let me show that real quick. There's our YouTube, guys, right there.
Boom.
Look it up. Subscribe. We need 1 million subscribers tonight. No, I'm just kidding. Keep it going, though. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.